everyone. It's Claudia, and welcome to Take a Moment to Pause with Purpose. Another week, another episode, and I thank you for joining me. Um, I've been reflecting on where we've been the last couple of months, actually. It's been, this time of transition and a time of letting go of things that were behind us, recognizing there's a process and a preparation to step into the new season. Excuse me, but also recognizing that we need to let go of the naysayers and what they tell us that would try to knock us off course and not achieve our purpose and our goal in life and what we're called to do. And that's a big nut to crack as we move forward. But it's seeing our future, seeing our identity, our destiny, and who God created us to be, and the desires and passions He put in us, and to go after those. So it's been a time of healing and a time of restoration, getting into this new season. And that takes some time. But as I said, it's been a process and a preparation for where the Lord is taking us. So as I was thinking about this, I mean, everything is goal oriented and taking steps forward, but I was feeling that the Lord was saying we need to live intentionally. And I kind of, when I watch things on TV or read things, there are people that are so overwhelmed with life, and life comes at them and they have this victim mentality. Oh, this happened to me. Oh, that happened to me. Oh, woe is me. As opposed to have a, an attitude of a victor over our own lives. And that comes with making intentional decisions, being living intentionally in our lives. And that makes me think about, are we living by design or are we living by default? Meaning, are we looking at our lives? Yeah, things happen every day, but are we starting each day intentionally with a focus on what we need to achieve, what things we want to take on that day? Or are we letting the distractions of life take over and prevent us from doing what we know we should be doing on a daily basis? Now, one of the things that I do intentionally every day, and I can't think of living my life any other way, is I intentionally start my day with the Lord. It's prayer, worship, uh, celebrating the life He's given me, celebrating the fact that He is my God, speaking the word, praising Him. And that is important for me because in that, I start the day off with the Lord's peace and I ask Him to download His wisdom to me for the day. So that way, my intentional living is based on what the Lord is showing me is what I should be doing. And I can't go wrong with that. It kind of takes the weight off of my shoulders and trusting the Lord to download to me what I should be focusing on. And yeah, I've got projects, things I do every day, things I know I should be doing, but things happen. So it's a question of, and I think about, the habits of the 7 habits of successful people, or whatever the name of that book was. Um, and we have things in our lives that are urgent, we have things that are important, and we have things that can possibly wait. And we have to be in a position to recognize what those 3 differences are. And so when life comes at us, we can shift, rejigger the day without losing sight of what our main intention is and what we should be focusing on. For example, I wear many hats and I am a health coach. So, what I do on a daily basis after spending time with the Lord is I will focus on my health business. And there are certain things I will do every day in terms of trying to build the business, trying to bring new clients on, or reaching out to people and helping them achieve their health goals. But my other hat is I'm also an actress. So there are times an audition will come in And then do I drop my health business and focus on the audition? And I used to do that. I used to go, an audition. I got so excited. But now what I'll do is I'll take a look at the audition, see when it's due, make a mental decision as to, okay, I can finish up on my health stuff, and then I can look at the audition and figure out what to do to prepare for that. So that is also important, but it's not my urgent thing for the day. That has a little window for me to work in order to prepare for that audition, have some my friend come over and be my reader and be able to self-tape it and send it on its way. So I've learned how to prioritize. And that's critical, to live by design instead of default. So then with that comes the other question of, what are we saying yes to in our lives rather than focusing on what matters most? Meaning, if there's a distraction coming in, are we now going to focus on the distraction and say yes to it rather than what matters most to us? Um, and I mean, it could be family, it could be our work, it can be children, anything can be happening. But are we in the ability to pivot to figure out our priorities and how that fits in and how we can best handle it without being completely thrown off course and not getting anything accomplished? So I'm thinking of something that it's kind of funny actually. I'm also a writer, and one of the things that's very easy to do as a writer is procrastinate. And I'll use, in writing my book, My Wall is Red, a memoir of discovery. Um, when I was getting into the book and really getting into deep places that still needed healing, it I didn't want to do it because it was painful. I didn't want to go to the deep recesses of myself to be able to be so vulnerable in my book, but I had to go there. So I would procrastinate. For example, oh, I need to call this person, or oh, gee, I should do the laundry now. That's important. Oh, you know what? I think I need a cup of tea. I would do anything to procrastinate doing what I was focused on, knowing I needed to do it because I wanted to avoid the pain of going deep into what I was going to be writing about. So whatever your circumstances, whatever it is, we all do it. We all do it. But eventually the book got written and I felt this sigh of relief, and there were certain chapters that were more painful than others to write, but I made it over the hump and I got it done. So, yes, we are all human. We do things and those things come in boom, 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 but we have to set our priorities and figure out how to get done to keep taking the steps forward and going ahead. Now, another question is, if someone was to, look at your daily routine, what would their takeaway be as what is your priority? What are the things you value the most? Would they be witnessing someone who is very focused and you set your priorities, you have a plan of action, you know what to do, and someone who can weather the storm of all the distractions of the day and come back to what you're supposed to be focused on? Or are they going to be witnessing somebody who gets thrown off course all the time and gets ruffled by the life things that come in and, affect the day's events and things going on, which take us off track? Are we able to come back on track? I've made a conscious decision. I live intentionally, and I will focus on what I need to do, and I hope you are doing the same, because it's kind of sobering to think, if somebody was watching us, what would they be seeing? What would their takeaway of our life be? And I never really thought of it before. It's like just, being on display. I'm kind of thinking of the Truman Show right now, the movie, where he was being watched every single day. But what would that be like for you? And if it's something like, oh no, I don't want anybody to do that, then we need to take stock and regroup and figure out what it is we need to tweak and adjust in our lives to be diligent and focused on what our call in life is and what we should be focused on. Now, um, now, what another thing is, what is one small intentional choice that could change the direction of your life? Sometimes, the smallest things have a major impact going forward. And wow, I'm thinking of two things that seem so small and insignificant in my own life. And one was when I was in corporate, it was before I left corporate after 9/11. I was working around the clock and it was like, it was horrible. But I left corporate in November of 2001, right after 9/11. And I was given the gift of time. I had got a great package. It was wonderful. But a brochure came to my house, and it was for the Learning Annex in New York. They had wonderful classes, and it's like, you know what? I worked so hard, I just need to do something for fun. Well, I took a class on commercials for real people. I didn't expect anything. I just went because I just wanted to check it out. I always wanted to be an actress, so it kind of piqued my interest, and it was a free class. So I was like, sure, why not? So I was there, I asked questions, and I wound up getting an email from the teacher, not knowing he was a major manager in New York City. I didn't know anything of the industry. I just was, I said, taking the class for fun. And he said he was very impressed with my professionalism, and he was wondering if I'd be interested in taking classes with a casting director for commercials. And right away, my antennas went up, and I said, scam, scam, scam. Well, I did my due diligence, I did my homework, and I found out it was very legitimate. So I did. I started taking classes with this casting director on how to audition for commercials. I didn't even know what I was doing. I had no plans on doing this. It was like it just kind of happened. But that led to later scene study classes, which led to my doing a showcase, which led to my getting an agent in New York, which led to my getting an audition for Law and Order and booking my very first major audition. And I got my SAG card right away. And then soon after that, I'm packing up, selling my house, and moving out to Los Angeles to pursue my dream of acting because at that time there was not a lot of shows in New York. So that one little decision that I had to take that free class at the Learning Annex just changed the trajectory of my life. It was a little tiny decision just to have some fun. And boom, boom, here I am. Pick up stakes, sell everything, leave everybody and everything behind, and move to Los Angeles. So seemed like a small, insignificant decision, but it had major lasting impact on my life. The other thing that seemed like a small decision for me changed my life as well. I've explained in the past that I did not know I was taking steroids for 4 years every day, and it seriously affected my health and it wreaked havoc with me. I blew up like a balloon, gained a lot of weight, almost went blind with glaucoma, da 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 da. Not going to, regurgitate the physical trauma that I went through with them. Well, for 30 years, I tried to do everything to lose the weight, to get healthy. Nothing was working. I've gone completely holistic. No more, I would not take a medication or a pill. I drive my doctors crazy. Well, one day I was at a conference and I went to a seminar. And there was a woman on the panel and she was talking about this health program. Well, I gotta tell you, I was a brat. I folded my arms and I went, yeah, right, sure. Tell me something else. No way. I turned out. I turned off. Well, that little small voice inside of me, the Holy Spirit, said, you will call her. Now, when I say I was a brat, I was a brat because I've been through so much, disappointed so much. I wanted nothing to do with any programs or anything. Finally, I listened, I gave in, I contacted her, and we talked. There was no judgment, there was nothing. I broke down on the phone and I cried, and she said, let me be your hope for a month. Well, I couldn't lose a pound in a year, let alone in a month. So I said, fine, I'll do it. I just felt the Lord telling me to do it. Okay, fine. Bad attitude. In 1 month, I lost 10 pounds. It was unheard of. Now, I am a very private person, and I was so excited. I actually went on social media and I was doing videos about my weight loss, showing people how big my shirts. I was crying. I was so vulnerable. I didn't care. I was so excited. So my coach said, Claudia, if you're going to be so public and go on social media, why don't you become a coach yourself and help other people? Oh, no, I can't do that. I said, why not? We need coaches, and, you're perfect. You've got such passion for this. So I prayed about it, I thought about it, and I was like, no, no, no. And then finally I said, yeah, I just sensed, yeah, I'm supposed to do this. Well, now I'm helping other people take back their health and reset their metabolisms. And I'm beyond thrilled. I feel like I'm giving back. It's such a gift. And I get emotional because I am helping others take back their health. And I didn't plan this, but I listened to that still small voice, and it's had a major impact on my life. I don't know where it's going. I don't know what goals I have, but I am trusting the Lord here to move me forward in this. So another small decision, kicking and screaming doing it, but it's had a major impact on my life. I'm so healthy. My doctor said he's never had a patient my age this healthy on no meds. Praise God. So, another small decisions which had a major lasting impact on my life. So, do not discount those small intentional decisions, that intentional living that we need to do, because it gives us new perspective and we change the way we look at things. And it's fantastic. So, be cognizant of those things that come your way and take them in. Don't be closed off. Evaluate them and make decisions that are deliberate. We don't want to go through life willy-nilly, okay? We have to make deliberate decisions, and let's see where it takes us, okay? All right. So then another question is, what would your future self thank you for if you started making intentional decisions today? Wow. My future self, I'll use my future self from 3 years ago for the health. I'm like beyond thankful that I made that decision. I'm thankful every day to God, to myself for listening and making that decision. I am grateful every day that I went to that class at the Learning Annex in Manhattan, because my future self, I didn't know where I was going, but I am looking at my goals and the vision I have for my life and where I believe God is taking me. And I believe that the decisions I make, the intentional decisions I make going forward, are going to get me there again with the wisdom of God, seeking the Lord for everything, because He does guide my steps and your steps. And we have to be willing to allow the Lord to come in and listen to that still small voice to guide us, and because He guides our steps. I mean, Psalm 32:8, I will instruct you and teach you in the way that you should go, and I will guide you with mine eye. So I feel very revved up with this episode because it's action oriented. It's taking a look at where we are now and where we want to go and living intentionally. So I pray that you have the strength of character, the willingness to um, make the shifts in decision making and not let the life overwhelm you and be a victim to life, but live intentionally, live by design instead of default, because it does make a major impact, and it kind of raises us up to have a joy, have an excitement about where we're going. Because when we think we're getting beaten up all the time, oh, please, no, no, not at all. We make intentional decisions. We're very careful about looking at the information we have and making the best decisions we can based on that. If things don't work out, guess what? We can shift again and go. But set your priorities, do that every day, and be able to monitor the shifts in the day and figure out what shifts from urgent to important to you. I don't have to deal with that right now. With all of that, I pray this blesses you, and I just, you know, take a moment to live intentionally. Have a blessed week, everybody. Bye bye.